We can send out a call to find the others, and we can watch in wonder as 500,000 people raise their hands. Any fringe, whether it's a noble cause or absolutely diabolical, when you multiply it across the 3.5 billion people who are already in the human network, add up to substantial numbers. And so, amplified by the human network, these bonds of affinity that we've now released have delivered us over to a new kind of mod rule. And this shows up in its most complete in Wikipedia, which, warts and all, represents the first attempt to survey and capture the entire knowledge of the human race, not just the scientific and academic elites. It is a project of the mob, for the mob, and by the mob. It is the mob rule of factual knowledge. And its phenomenal success demonstrates beyond all doubt how the calculus of civilization has shifted away from its liberal bias, because in the liberal era, knowledge is a scarce resource, managed and conserved by elites, and the more scarce it is, the more that knowledge is valued. Wikipedia turns that assertion inside out. The more something is shared, the more valuable it becomes. And these are newly disproportionate returns on altruism, and they overturn the virtues of selfishness. Now, paradoxically, Wikipedia is not democratic, and it is not transparent, although it gives the appearance of both. Investigations conducted by the Register in the UK and several other organizations have shown that the encyclopedia that anyone can edit is in fact tightly regulated by a close group of hyperconnected peers known as the Wikipedians. And this premise is borne out by the unpleasant fact that article submissions to Wikipedia are being rejected at an ever-increasing rate. Wikipedia's growth has slowed, and it someday might grind to a halt, not because it's managed to encompass the entire span of human knowledge, but because it's the front line of a new kind of warfare. It's a battle that's really both semantic and civilizational. And in this battle, we can see the tracings of hyperpolitics. It's the politics of the era of hyperconnectivity. Now, to outsiders like myself, who critique Wikipedia for this increasingly draconian behavior, they have a simple response. We are holding the line against chaos. Wikipedians honestly believe that in keeping such effluvia as endless articles on enemy characters or biographies of living persons deemed insufficiently notable out of the resource, they are keeping it pure. And this is essentially a conservative impulse, which very much befits a community who are essentially archivists and librarians. But the mechanisms through which that purity is maintained are hardly conservative. Hyperconnected, the Wikipedians create soft puppet personae, using those to argue points on discussion pages. They use back-channel, non-transparent communications with other Wikipedians to amass support both numerically and rhetorically to enforce their dictates. And anyone who attempts to counter the absolute fixed opinion of any network of Wikipedians encounters a buzzsaw of defiance, and almost invariably they withdraw in defeat. Now, here's the interesting thing. Because this great game has been exposed by folks like the Register, hypermimesis comes into play. The next time an individual or a community gets knocked back, they have an option. They can choose to go nuclear on Wikipedia. They can use the tools of hyperconnectivity to create such a storm of protest from so many angles of attack that the Wikipedians themselves find themselves overwhelmed and backed into the buzzsaw of their own creation. Now, that is probably going to engender an even more conservative reaction from the Wikipedians until, in fairly short order, the most vital center of knowledge creation in the history of the human race becomes entirely fossilized. Or, just possibly, the Wikipedians will learn to embrace the chaos and find a way to make it work. Now, that choice, writ large, is the same that confronts us in every aspect of our lives, because the increasing pressures of hyperconnectivity are coming at us from every space in the human social sphere. And they arrive hand in hand with an increasing empowerment through all of the hypermimesis that we're learning from each other. All of our mass institutions developed at the start of the liberal era are backed against the same buzzsaw. And politics, as the most encompassing of our social institutions, now balances on a knife edge between a past which no longer works and a future that looks